And just closing your eyes and let yourself just be aware of that still point inside you. And just kind of go looking for it. Just usually how I do it is I would put my tongue on my palate and I would just start to drop more and more into my body. And when I'm dropping into my body, what I'm aware of is how am I really feeling? What's really happening inside of me? Because there's always a lot of busyness, you know, we've all got a lot of busyness. And, you know, just like Diane just shared, you know, sometimes we get bad news. And our head can start to run away with us about what that's going to mean for us, how that's going to make us feel. And the juice, if you like, is always in what it's making us feel. Because the truth is, we have ownership of our feelings. And so when we can take ownership of our feelings, other people can't affect our feelings to the same extent. That might seem like a peculiar thing to say. I want you just to drop further and further into your own feelings. And it might be around the situation with COVID. It might be around whatever it is you've shared. It might be that somebody else has triggered something for you, or you feel empathy for somebody else. Empathy is a marvelous thing, and it's also a terrible thing. The marvelous thing about empathy is that you can tune in and you can respect how somebody else is feeling, because you know, like if we take sadness, for example, or grief, we know that we've also had similar experiences that have created sadness and grief in us. So we know what it feels like. And so when we see somebody else in that situation, we feel empathy because we know what it feels like. And that's what empathy is. And if you don't have empathy, it's very difficult to relate to other people on an emotional level. Most women are naturally empathetic. And a lot of men are also empathetic, but historically men are not as empathic as women. And the bad side of empathy is that we feel things very deeply. And what we can do energetically, depending also on how we have kind of put ourselves together through childhood, is we can become, kind of come into that state of almost over empathy, where as soon as somebody says something, we feel it. We react with our feelings. It's a very common thing for women. And sometimes, so there are three universal truths, right, that we need to have. One is we love the feeling of belonging. We need to belong. So I'm just thinking about Karen with the gym there. So when we don't have that feeling of belonging, or when it's taken away from us, or when we perceive that it's taken away from us, it's not actually being taken away, then we are tuning into and making it mean whatever we're making it mean. So whatever other people are saying is one thing, but whatever they're saying, we're making it mean something to us. And it's when we do that, what we're making it mean. So with as much kindness as you can, if you tune in to what we're making it mean. So this is for you, Diane. It's also for you, Karen. It's what we're making it mean. If this happens, what this is going to mean for me. So if I can't go to the gym, what's this going to mean for me? If I'm not going to see my friend, what's this going to mean for me? And we decide in arbitrary moments instantly what it's going to mean. Whereas when we take the time to sort of belong to ourselves and be in the flow, then the flow is what nourishes us. So I want you just to imagine that you can step back and actually observe yourself and what you're making things mean. You know, like if I look into the situation of people who are vaxxed and what they're making it mean about people who are non-vaxxed, a lot of what they seem to me to be making it mean is that those other people who are not vaccinated are putting me in danger. And so they get fearful again. So even though they've been double vaccinated, and if a vaccination works, you know, but they go back into the fear, and the fear is familiar because they were fearful in the first place of getting the vax, or they were fearful in the first place of having the COVID. Just let yourself just turn that around in your head. For some of you, it will be quite challenging to turn that around in your head, and that's okay. It's okay to be challenged by what's been said. So just breathe through it as if you could breathe through the crown. And just kind of firm up the vertical core or the underkarana. So just being aware in your sacral area, and just be aware, just kind of up and just kind of back a little bit in the body. In terms of women, it would be roughly where the cervix is, but behind in the middle of the body. And just hold your attention there. Then be aware of the womb space or the dantian, if you're a man. We've done this exercise lots of times. So we're going to call it the hara, because it covers both principles, the male and the female principle. Just hold your attention there in the lower part of your body. So when we think a lot, when we overthink, and when we spin those thought loops, we are very often not connecting to the lower part of our body. We are very often just going around. You used to see cartoons of it, like with things spinning around our head, little thought loops. So always when you feel that you're overthinking, the thing to do always is come into your body, come into that womb space, come down in your body into the hip region, into the bowl of the hips. And this is particularly potent for women. Just be aware of the bowl between the hip region. And just be aware, I'm just going to call this the magical nature of the bowl in the hips for the women. Just keep your attention there. And just see how long you can hold your attention there. Hopefully you're getting at least 3 or 4 seconds at a time. Then you might find you wander off in a thought. And when that happens, that's okay. Just let yourself just come back to the same sacral region, sacred region. And so just hold the energy down. And just keep practicing that. Just whatever I say next, just keep practicing coming back and holding that energy there. And then be aware in the heart region. And hopefully you can retain some connection with the hara, or the bowl in the hips. And just being aware of our hearts. And just let your heart be filled with compassion for this terrible situation that everybody, all the humans of the world, are involved in this situation. And I want you to just focus on the heart and the hara. And of course, the next step, I don't want you to go there just now, but the next step is the head. And the reason that I don't want you to go there is that as soon as you go to your head, your thoughts will go faster. I want you just to keep dropping back down to the heart and the hara. One will feel easier than the other. Probably the heart will feel easier. I want you just to focus on bringing it. If the heart's easier, then focus on coming to the hara. And if the hara is easier, just keep focus on bringing in the heart energy as well. The heart's kind of like like Grand Central Station, sort of thing, where all the energy comes to the heart and it gets sort of allocated, if you like. And just think it, just being in the heart and just being aware of all of these different perspectives that are coming up, to vaccinate, to not vaccinate, for things to be approved, whether to give it to children, all of the different variables of it all. And you just keep coming to the heart and to the hara. That's really good. You're doing really, really well. That energy coming down to the hara, be aware of that sacral bowl. And what I want you to do is just imagine that you were turning the energy inside the sacral bowl in a circle, like you could sort of put like a spoon in a bowl, but just imagine you're turning that energy. That's for all the women. So for Sandy, just staying in that region. And for all the women, actually churn the energy. And you'll find it'll either go clockwise or anti-clockwise. And just allow it to do whichever one is doing. Don't try to change whichever way it's going. Just go with the flow of whichever way it's going. So this is part of something called embodiment. So a lot of the time, a lot of us have heard of enlightenment, which is when we become more knowledgeable about the inner planes. But embodiment is a different thing. And it's when we start to bring our knowledge of the inner planes down and into our body, into the physical world. Well, I spoke about this a few times lately, as above, so below. And just being aware of the sacral bowl and bringing the energy down and into the sacred bowl. The energy that we are attempting to generate all the time is always the energy of compassion. So just being aware of Kuan Yin, who is the Bodhisattva of compassion, and just be aware of Kuan Yin. And just be aware of the whole of the Buddhist principle, which is about everything in moderation, the middle path. Sometimes resting, sometimes taking action, the middle path, always being in the flow. And just keep being aware of that. And it's not like it's a straight path. It's sort of, it's a bit the way that they fly planes. You go a few degrees to one side, a few degrees to the other, but you end up with this middle path. But you're not really ever on the middle path. You're always kind of just correcting, coming back into the middle, coming back into the direction. And believe it or not, that's the way the airplanes fly. And just being aware of that self-correction, the corrections that take place. So you go 2 degrees left and you come back to the middle, you go 2 degrees right and come back to the middle. So that means you might go of 10 degrees to the left and you still have to come back to the middle. And that middle is the still point, the point that we practice every week in meditation. I want you to put your tongue on your palate and start to breathe through your nose. And bring the energy from your nose up to your ajna and then bring it down the body and release it into what's called the microcosmic orbit and let it turn around in the sacred bowl. So this time it will be turning up on itself. So breathe in through the nostrils, up to the ajna and down to the sacred bowl and turn the energy within the sacred bowl. And again, breathe in through the nostrils, down and turn the energy inside the sacred bowl. It sort of looks like a big loop. It's down and round, down and round, down and round. And just imagine that begins to swirl in the sacred bowl. And just let it swirl. And just being aware of the divine. So the easiest way for me to connect to the divine is to connect to Amma, Sri Sakti Amma. And just think, you might be aware of a tree in nature, someplace that you know, or it might be someplace that you go to, someplace that you feel very connected with nature. Or it might be a guru or a saint, or, you might be brought up in a faith where you absolutely love and adore Mother Mary, or whatever that energy is for you. And it's different for everybody, and at the same time it's the same. So it may be connected to what feels like a different thing, but basically you're connecting to divine energy that's different to just your earth energy. And just let the divine energy just kind of flow into you and fill that sacred bowl. Let it swirl around until it fills the hips. And as it fills the hips, just become aware as it sort of spills over and down into the legs. Just be aware of which leg it's kind of pouring down first. And if you have any trouble with your legs, then let it just go to where there's any trouble with your legs. Often the joints, the knees and the ankles are the places that the energy will go to. And remember, this energy is an intelligent energy. It already knows what it's doing. We don't have to tell it. I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but Amma talks about this as well. It's like when the divine energy is working for us, let's say we ask for assistance with something. It's kind of like going into a shop and we order a sandwich. So we go in and we say, I'll have a salad sandwich. And they start to make a salad sandwich. And then when we keep asking again and again, we've already given our order and we're going, can I have a salad sandwich? Can I have a salad sandwich? And it goes on. And it's kind of like, well, in the end, you don't know how many salad sandwiches you want because we're the one confusing the issue. So what faith is that knowing that you've said the prayer, you've done the prayer, you've asked for assistance, and then you have to have the faith, the trust that the divine energy flows through you, because why would it flow through everybody else and not through you? You have to question why you might think that. The divine energy flows through everybody. And the more you sort of build your receptor, which is the vehicle, which is the body, then the more divine energy can flow to you. It's like that energy just gently just rise up a little bit through the crown and let the energy come flooding down. I'm just going to ask you to just open a little bit more. There's way more can come in. So beneath, if you can just open up a little bit more and let the energy really flood through you. That's better. Just let it flood through you. Just receive the energy. Be receptive to the energy. That's it. And just let the energy just flood through you. Opening, opening, opening. And just know it's exact, this energy. It's completely 100% accurate, right? It never is anything else. And it will flow into you in exactly the right quantity for you. And it will nourish you in the places that you need to be nourished. And it will serve you in the ways that you need to use that energy. So just let the energy come in more. Diane, just open up a little bit more. And just let yourself just receive a bit more. Karen, the same, just let yourself receive a bit more. That's it. Receive, 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 receive. That's good. And regardless of the circumstances of your life, and I know, because I know some of you quite well, that there's a lot of you have had a lot of difficult circumstances. Yeah. There's a lot of difficult circumstances. Some of you are currently in difficult circumstances. Some of you have just left difficult circumstances. I want you just to be receptive to the energy of the divine flow. And let yourself receive. So, again, Big breaths. Imagine that for some reason you'd been shallow breathing for 10 years and that you'd just forgotten how to deep breathe. You'd just forgotten how to take a really big breath in, and that your mind had gotten so busy you'd forgotten you could breathe more deeply. And all you're going to do is you're just going to take bigger breaths. Breathe in and release it. I want you to do quite a few big breaths. It's a big energy come in. So I want you just to keep breathing big energy breaths without hyperventilating, of course. And remember, we've all got our eyes closed. If you feel the need to, then do what's called Kali breathing, which is you go and you stick your tongue out as you breathe out and you make a noise. Then take another breath in. And just relax the body. Relax the body. Feel the flow of divine energy. Imagine that above your head there was a tap. And the tap had been stuck for a long time. It kind of gotten a bit rusty. And somebody came along and sprayed WD-40 on it. And they let it sit for 10 minutes. And then they just kind of wiggled the tap a little bit. And eventually the tap just moves a little bit till the energy starts to trickle through. And so you're going to control the tap. Because if it's been a while since you've allowed yourself to really receive divine energy, then it would be like overfilling yourself. You might get sick from like eating too much ice cream, that kind of thing. So I want you just to allow the tap to just open gently and just allow. So Mother Mary is the one that's kind of come forward to control the taps or help you to control the tap. And just let that energy just flow. That's really fantastic. Really, really good. Well done, everybody. Just let that energy flow in. And let it flow down. Let it fill the bowl of your belly and the sacred bowl across the hips. Let it flow down and out through the vagina and then down and out through the legs. And for Sandy, bring it down the back and bring it down through the base of the spine, then down the legs. I want you just to move towards the Meng Men chakra, which, if you recall, is just at the back of the navel chakra. And I want you just to keep your attention there for a moment or two. I'm just going to cleanse, I'm just going to sweep that area at the back of the Meng Men. So what the Meng Men does is it digests the energy of anger. So it digests a lot of energies, but anger's one particular one that it does. And when people get high blood pressure, it's because the Meng Men has become blocked. And the blood pressure goes up, which is often a result of anger and the Meng Men's inability to digest all of the anger. So breathe in through your crown, release through the Meng Men at the back of your navel, and just let that energy just release. Just be aware, often energies of anger are also sort of frustration, despair, discord, It can take a lot of forms: helpless, hopeless, fear, anxiety, worry. Just keep breathing in through the crown, out of the back of the Meng Men. I want you to very gently just be aware of the Meng Men and just allow for some of the pressure to be released through the Meng Men. Just like yourself, just tune into all of the Meng Men. So imagine it's a smaller chakra than most chakras, but just let it just release through there. So, Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana. Breathe out through the back. It's just gentle, gentle. Just think of Mother Mary. So with Mother Mary, one of the easiest ways to tune into Mother Mary is to imagine yourself as a small baby and Mother Mary taking care of all of the small babies, which includes us. And just let that energy that is that divine mother energy just nourish us as we just kind of let go of anything that's built up in our system. So for the divine, we're all children of the divine. Nobody's in isolation. The divine's always with us. It's just how well we can call on the telephone, really. And it's breathing through the crown, out of the back of the Ming Men. When the Ming Men becomes congested, then the base chakra becomes affected. And the base chakra is all about our safety and our tribe. So whenever something happens to our tribe, and Diane, I'm thinking about you there, whenever something happens to any of our tribe, then and our base chakra is affected, then we can lift up again and out of the energy body of the base of the spine. And we can feel very kind of almost disoriented by not being in that lower part of the body. So just keep breathing out of the Meng Men. And in a moment or two, we'll probably do some breathing out of the base chakra just to bring this energy that we all have, bring it further down into the bodies. It's good. It's really good. Bring it down. And just let it balance. We're not going to do anything to balance. Just in your head, just think that you're just letting the Meng Men and the base chakra balance. And just bring your attention down to the base of the spine and just release through the base of the spine. Bring the energy in through your crown and kind of let it whoosh out through the base of the spine. Not too fast, just gently. So, that's good. Gentle, gentle, gentle. That's it. Now I'm just going to stabilize the base chakra and I'm going to stabilize the Ming Men. And those two chakras will now kind of speak to each other more easily. So when the Ming Men gets full of the energies of anger, it kind of can cut off from the base chakra. Like you just allow the energy to trickle down from the Meng Men to the base and from the base up to the Meng Men. And just let that, just gently, just let that flow come about. Durga, 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 Durga. You might feel energy moving around your body. If you're good, if you do, that's good. And if you don't, that's okay too. Just gently, just know you're doing enough, just with your intention, with your thought process, hearing my voice, just allowing it to yourself to follow. Breathe in, release through the back of the heart. Breathe in, release through the back of the throat. Breathe in, release through the front of the throat. And then just breathe in, release through the front, all around the throat. So again, breathe in through the crown, hold the breath, then release through the throat. And just let your body relax. Let yourself just be aware. I want you to bring your attention back to whatever you brought to the conversation this evening. And just let your body relax. And I want you just to observe that from the still point, yes, all of this is going on, but it's not actually affecting who you are. It doesn't change who we are in our beingness, regardless of what's going on the surface. It's being aware of the goodness within you. The goodness within you. And I'm just going to refer to this as women, but the good woman that you are. The good woman that you are. The kindness that exists within you. The compassion. It's being aware of the energy of clarity, that you are a good woman, that we are all good women. Be aware of all of the other women in the group, and Sandy as well. It's just this, the feminine energy is really broken. That we're all good women, we're all good people, good men, good women. And it's just who we naturally are. And that we've all made mistakes. And yet we continue to be good women, good men. Just let your heart expand. If you can, hold the connection between the heart and the heart. And then I want you to just open up your hands so your palms are facing upwards if you're not already sitting like that or lying like that. Just open your palms and breathe in through your crown. Let the energy come to your heart and then down your arms and out your hands. And just send this energy, this connected energy, the divine energy flowing through you, just send it out into the world. We'll send it to Melbourne first and all of that that's going on there. And just being aware of this collective of women and just sending love to that situation. Send love to the divisions that people are experiencing. And in this energy, there is no division. Division can't exist in this realm. Polarity only exists on the earth plane. It might exist elsewhere, but we only know of it on the earth plane. The good and the bad. It's how we know the difference. And then just taking a breath in still with your hands. So using your hands. So ask that all the hand chakras be activated. I ask that they have the same measure of sensitivity as my hands. I ask this in full faith through the divine grace. May this be gifted to everybody. So be it. And breathe in. And breathe to the heart. And then down out your arms and out through your hands. And just let your hands just be receptive in your hands. And then send the energy from your hands to anybody that's troubled you. Yeah, so the women in the gym, Diane, your friend moving to Noosa, your brother's passing, all of the things that go on for us in our lives. And just sending love now through the hands again to all of the other people who are often here, all of the other women that are often here on Tuesday evenings, sort of the bigger group of us. And just know that any night you can't make it, you would be included as well. And that we're just doing the best we can with what we know and what we have. Sending energy through the hands out into the world to all those other women. So I want you to practice something else now. I want you to just breathe in through the crown, and I want you to hold the left hand in receptive mode, and through the right hand, send the energy out. So imagine that you're receiving in the left hand and you're giving out with the right hand. If you're left-handed, then it might go the other way. I don't know. So just do whichever way feels right for you. But generally, the left hand is the receptive hand and the right hand is the giving hand. And you would have seen this pose thousands upon thousands of times in, you often see Mother Mary standing like this, where she's giving blessings out. Just send the blessings out. And it just feels to me that just to send the energy right now to all of the men, all of the construction workers. Just send love to them through the hands, not through your heart, just through your hands, to all of those construction workers. And just send this energy of unity. And just do that for as long as feels comfortable for you. It might stop quite quickly, or it might continue for a bit. And just as the women, all sending love to the male species, to all of the men in your life, fathers, brothers, uncles. And just send a lot of love to them for what they don't know about women. And that's not said in arrogance, that's just in knowing that we're different. Breathing in through the crown or the left hand and send out through the right. That's it. Take a bigger breath in and hold the energy in your heart. And this time I want you to receive, just receive in both, in all of your being, in both your hands. Receive, receive, receive. And we're just going to listen to a little song. Can't even think straight this time. And just take this time now for yourself. Receiving, receiving, receiving. And take a big breath in. And just let yourself just be in an energy of gratitude. Put your hands together in prayer position, either with your hands clasped or your hands straight, whatever feels right to you. As we give thanks to the Supreme Being, Divine Mother, Divine Father, our souls and our divine selves. We give thanks for each other. We give thanks for this community. We give thanks to Sri Shakti Amma. And we ask for blessings upon all of the people of the world. We ask this in full faith through the divine grace, so be it. And just take a breath in. Be aware of the activation in the hand chakras. And just be aware your palms together. And just let that activation it'll come in through the crown, down through the back to the heart, from the heart through the arms and into the hand, the palms of the hands. And just be aware as each of the finger chakras also gets activated. As we give thanks for these gifts of receptivity and energetic awareness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May we each continue to be clear channels for divine light, divine love, divine power. May we each be a light in the world, and may we inspire everyone that we come in contact with to be more loving, more kind, more compassionate. And may we ourselves become this through the divine grace. So be it. Take another deep breath in, just being aware of Kuan Yin, Bodhisattva of compassion and mercy. Just be in her presence for a moment. And coming back when you're ready. Remember to rub your hands together if you want, put them across your eyes. Let yourself coming back into a nice, comfortable space for your eyes. Whilst you're all coming back, just take a minute. I'm going to nip to the bathroom. I've drunk too much water. Just a moment. I'm going to stop the recording.